Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and this is my discussion video on the brand new Duel Terminal set. We just got the new Ice Barrier and Infernoid cards revealed, and they're absolutely cracked for both archetypes. I think Ice Barrier is finally a playable archetype, which is exciting. Even though they had a whole structure deck to fix them, now they're absolutely fixed with these 4 brand new cards. And I would like to say Infernoid might be a Tier 1, Tier 2 archetype, with the introduction of these 4 new cards, and their already amazing support in the Diabell Star and Snake Eyes archetypes. I think Infernoid has the potential for greatness, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the other 2 mystery archetypes that will be getting support in this set. If you don't know, Konami has revealed that there will be 4 archetypes from Duel Terminal lore that will be receiving support in this set. They revealed Infernoid and they revealed Ice Barrier. I was going to make a whole discussion video speculating on the Ice Barrier support and what they needed, but they already released the support for Ice Barrier, so that was too late for that. But before they release the other 2 archetypes and what they do, I want to make this speculation video on what they could be. So here's my first theory, and I'm just going to tell you how it is. I don't think whatever attributes we're getting are going to be a light and dark attributes for Duel Terminal. Now, the reason why I say that is because I think Konami wants to move away from giving every support card to light and dark archetypes. This is my opinion, and I think the new Duel Terminal cards will be supporting the other less popular attributes. So we just got fire and water out of the way. I think the next 2 archetypes will be either an earth archetype or a wind archetype. Probably one of each. So let's actually discuss what are the good possibilities for both the earth and winds. So first things first, the earth archetypes. We have Gem Knights, which is a very, very powerful FTK monstrosity, which is a very, very niche idea. I don't think Gem Knights will be it, just for the simple fact we got support and power the elements. Not to mention, any support you give to Gem Knights is just going to push their FTK agenda closer and closer into the metagame. So personally, I'm not a big fan of seeing Gem Knights getting support. Another really popular Earth archetype in the Duel Terminal lore has to be X-Sabers. X-Sabers, I think, definitely do deserve support. They're a really, really fan-popular archetype. They need a lot of support to be meta-relevant again. But I don't think 4 new cards will be enough for them. So that is why I'm not thinking they're going to be the next support archetype, just due to the fact they need like 7 to 8 new cards just to be playable again. Right now, most of their monsters are too outdated, and the same thing goes for that. There's other archetypes I'm leaving out of this discussion, not only because they're too outdated, but also because they need more cards, and they're not the right attributes. For example, Worms would be a great archetype to get new support for, but Worms are so outdated and bad, they probably need like 8 new cards to be fixed. Same thing with Ally Injustice, and so on and so forth. So for my first argument, I'm going to say the Earth attribute archetype that will be getting support will be Cleaforts. Now, the reason why I'm saying Cleaforts is 1, they're Earth attribute archetype, Pendulum, which Konami has been on a trend on fixing older Pendulum strategies. 2, Cleaforts have a lot of potential, but because of Master Rule 4 and just time progression in general, the deck doesn't work anymore. If you don't know, Cleaforts is a tribute-based Pendulum archetype. It's kind of like Monarchs but Pendulums. Their whole gimmick is that they want to tribute their Pendulum monsters for bigger Pendulum monsters, and then they get bonus effects based on what you tributed. So you tribute Monolith, or you tribute Disc, you get like bonus effects like that. Actually, I think Monolith is a vanilla, so I don't think you get any effects off Monolith. But what I'm basically trying to say is Cleaforts are just a Monarch style archetype in the Pendulum era, and they don't really work anymore. Not only has Master Rule 4 completely ruined their game plan on like spamming the field every turn, but also they were the first Towers archetype. Cleafort Towers is the first Towers in the modern game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that card is outdated now. Not only was it banned for a very long time, when it finally came back into the Link era, Lynx completely got rid of them. The monsters specifies that monsters with levels or ranks it's immune to. It's not immune to Lynx. Lynx is getting around this guy anyway. The fact that your boss monster requires 3 tributes can be popped with a Nightmare Cerberus is not a good thing. So, also, why do I think Cleaforts need 4 new cards? Well, personally, I think Cleaforts are currently unplayable. I think that they're a really cool pendulum strategy that revolves around the tribute mechanic, but without a brand new towers or some brand new consistency cards, I don't think Cleaforts will ever actually be meta. I think Cleaforts is probably the weakest pendulum archetype right now, and that's a fact. I think Ignites, I think Draco Slayers, I think Performer Pals, I think Dynamist, all those archetypes are way stronger than Cleaforts, just because Cleaforts are just outdated. They need some brand new modern day support to give this archetype some life. Another reason why I think Cleaforts will be the archetype to get support, besides the fact that Konami has been on a trend on revamping older pendulum archetypes, is actually a post that MBT found on YGPO organization. So this is the post right here. It's this really, really scary text. It makes you feel like someone's thinking about committing suicide. But it's actually the text of Cleafort Monolith translated, meaning someone at YGO Pro is translating Cleaforts for some reason, meaning most likely they're the next dual terminal archetype to get support. And it honestly makes sense to me. Cleaforts are kind of a fan favorite archetype, kinda. Not to mention they're probably one of the most revolutionary archetypes in the game's history, because they introduced the entire mechanic of towers into the game. So I feel like it would be a crime shame if the first towers archetype continues to be the worst towers deck in the world and doesn't even have a towers that works anymore. So personally, that's why I think Cleaforts will be our Earth attribute deck. I think they only need 4 new cards. I think they need maybe 2 new consistency pendulum monsters, maybe a brand new Pocket Floor Towers monster, and maybe a new extra deck monster, maybe a new Link monster. And I think you would actually be in the running to make a very, very strong new modern day Cleafort deck, in my personal opinion. Notice I didn't mention any trap cards, because this deck does revolve around a Floodgates, like Monarch's Eruption, stuff like that. Maybe we can move Cleaforts away from that play style, but who knows. But that's my opinion on that end. Let's actually go on to the next archetype. So the next archetype that will be is a wind attribute archetype. There's a lot of good wind attribute archetypes we can discuss. First things first, Mist Valley. Again, with the same arguments for the Ally of Justice, Mist Valley, as much as they're a beloved archetype, they need like an entire new wave. Like, they need to be entirely retrained. Like, yes, some of their cards is on the ban list. Yes, Mist Valley, Apex Avion sees meta contention, but that's it. That is literally it. And honestly, Mist Valley needs an entire new wave of support to be playable, and I don't think 4 new cards makes an archetype. So personally, I'm just going to leave Mist Valley out of this. The next archetype that I'm leaving out of this, as much as I kind of want them to get support, is Gustos. I really love the Gusto mechanic. I love that if you have the Gusto Synchro monster, you can just crash out your little dudes into them. They'll all flow into other little dudes, and it'll keep burning your opponent, because your opponent takes the damage you take, which is really, really good. But the playstyle is a little outdated, and it definitely needs some love. So I would definitely like for Gustos to get brand new support. Gustos feels like the original Mikonko archetype, because the Mikonko's whole gimmick is they crash little guys into big monsters, and then your opponent takes the damage. Same thing goes with the Gustos. They crash little dudes into big guys, and then your opponent takes the damage. So same game style. I would love for them to get some new modern day support to make them more playable, but I just don't think they will, just for the simple fact that Gustos did get support in 2021, I believe. They got like a couple new waves of support, and I don't know if Konami is willing to give them even more support. Now, don't get me wrong, that new support they got was definitely not enough, but it was new support in the last 2 or 3 years. So I don't think Gustos will be getting support. The archetype that I think will be getting support alongside Cleaforts is Ritual Beast. Now, Ritual Beast is a fan favorite archetype. This archetype is meta relevant. It was one of the only decks that could compete against Necros of all things. And yeah, I do think Ritual Beast is the way to go. As much as I love Cleafort, I think Ritual Beast is even a better deck to get support. This deck has always been inconsistent as hell. Yes, Kanahawk is an absolutely insane fusion monster, but the issue with this deck, and has always been this issue, is putting two Ritual Beast monsters on the field. So let me explain this archetype to you. Ritual Beast has to do with contact fusioning. So their whole gimmick is that you get one Ritual Beast Tamer and one Ritual Beast onto the field, and then you contact fuse into Kanahawk. Kanahawk gets you a search and then tags out to different Ritual Beasts. It revolves around the banish mechanics. They're all psychics and beasts and all these other different types of attributes and typings. And it's a very, very cool banish psychic archetype. And it's one of your first actual combo decks when it comes to setting up a whole bunch of back row, like steeds and things like that. But honestly, they need some love. If you haven't noticed, a lot of deck profiles play double summoning in their archetype, just because you need to have a way to summon out two Ritual Beast monsters onto the field to start your plays. The fact that none of the Ritual Beast monsters are extenders besides Tanner is absolutely ridiculous. And I definitely think they need some love. I think 4 new cards would definitely be a good step in that direction. I think they can get a new Ritual Beast monster. I think they can get 2 brand new extenders that can help spam the field onto the field for Ritual Beast. And maybe even a brand new Ritual Spell card. I think those will be enough to boost Ritual Beast back into the metagame. There is an argument that we also need a new trap card. As much as I love Steeds, and as much as I love the other one as well, I just don't think the modern day just popping your opponent's field and spamming the field is enough anymore, even though you can keep doing it as long as you keep getting Steeds and I forgot what the other one is. It's Steeds and I forgot what the other trap is. It's the one that blows up shit. Steeds special summons them, and then you blow up cards up to the number of Ritual Beasts with different names on the field. I forgot what it's called. You're just going to live with that. But anyway, I do think Ritual Beast is a beloved archetype from Duel Terminal that is win attribute that definitely deserves some love. I do think that Konami could be giving us some brand new cards for them, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. So who knows? Those are the 2 archetypes that I'm throwing into the ring. If Konami wants to make this more of a fire-water archetype set, they could give us 1 more fire monster attribute archetype and 1 more water attribute archetype. In that case, I wouldn't be actually sure what the new water would be. Gishki's already just got brand new support in the form of the new Gishki cards we got literally this year, and Phantom of Nightmare. And not Phantom of Nightmare, what am I saying? And Photon Hypernova. So I'm not really sure what would be the other water attribute deck to get support. I guess technically Necros. Necros could be getting new support. But and I actually see Necros getting 4 new cards. They're a powerful ritual archetype. They might possibly be getting some love. So this is more focused on fire and the water attributes for the Duel Terminal lore. Then I can definitely see Necros getting 4 brand new cards to push them back into the metagame. Necros used to be a tier 0 archetype, and that's the only reason why I'm a little hesitant to give them 4 brand new cards. Not to mention they already got technically a new card about 2 or 3 years ago in the form of that Omni-Negate dude. So I'm not really sure if Necros needs more support. Konami has been on a trend of revamping older ritual archetypes. If you haven't noticed, Gishki's got brand new support. The Prediction Princess got new support. The Shino Birds just got their new wave of support revealed. So Konami is revamping the new older ritual archetypes. Plus, they're also making new ritual archetypes out of really older archetypes. Like that new Selene Force that group 3 of the oldest ritual archetypes together. I think Demise and Ruin got new support. I'm really excited to see what Konami is doing. So I guess out of all the older ritual archetypes, Necros is the only one left out. So I could definitely see this being a water fire set, and Necros being the water attribute dark type getting new support because they haven't had support in a couple years. If we're getting another fire archetype, now there is plenty. We have Lavals, we have Flame Veils. There's like 20 different like fire attributes. We have Jirax. We have so many archetypes that could be getting new support in this set for fire that it's absolutely insane. Now, personally, if I had to choose an archetype to get support in this set, I would say Jirac, just for the simple fact they're dinosaurs. So technically, if you make the dinosaurs generic enough and strong enough, you could just play the generic dinosaur pile cards we already do, and actually make a Jirac dinosaur deck now. Now, that is my best bet. I think the Lavals and Flame Veils are really cool, but I think they need a shit ton of support, more than 4 cards, to make them even close to playable. If there's any other fire attribute archetypes for Duel Terminal I'm leaving out, you can let me know. But I definitely think out of all the archetypes that could also be getting support that is not Infernoid, I think Jirac might have the strongest ability. Not to mention, Konami's also revamping older dinosaur strategies. We just got the retrades for the Evolve monsters. Jirac should be getting new support too, if you think about it. Evolves and Jiracs are 2 of the weaker dinosaur archetypes, besides Dino Wrestlers. So, who knows? Maybe they could support. But that's really all I have to say about this video. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and the next 2 archetypes are going to be like Shaddoll and frickin' some other archetype, Gem Knights, who knows. But I personally think, my personal opinion, it should be Ritual Beast and Cleaforts. But if we can't get Ritual Beast and Cleaforts, maybe they'll give us Necros and Jirax or something. Make it a Fire Ice attribute box, and then for Duel Terminal 2, they'll make it a Earth Wind box, maybe. We'll just have to see. But anyway, I hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid, and I'll see you all next one. Bye-bye.